Hello, in today's video I'm going to show you how to beat Gasharpoon at the end of the Canto 5 dungeon. So let me hit play on the replay here, and then I'm going to pause it right here. Okay, so let me get my marker out. So Gasharpoon has 3 phases. Now I won't show the end of the fight because that would be spoilers, after you kill her, but I am going to show each phase. And each phase works totally different, and you have to play the phase mechanics unless you just have a really strong team. Like if you came in with like all 4 Blood Fiends and then like 2 really good Bleed IDs, you would probably just win even without playing the mechanics. But I'm going to assume you're struggling and that you should play the mechanics, so we're going to talk about them. So phase 1 is really easy. It's Pip's Ego. Turn start, heal 3 SP per value, so she's going to heal 60 SP per turn. Decreases after failing evade. So basically, you want to line up things on her that are going to get through her evade, and you don't want to use like a lot of small coin value attacks. So what you're going to see I do is I'm going to use Ishmael, LCB Ishmael, the default one, since she decreases defense power. That's just kind of lucky. And then we're also going to see that when she like loses the clashes with these, she loses SP. And when she loses the clash, if I rewind, she gains defense power down. Let me get the marker out again. Sorry if I'm kind of rambling. There we go. So that's how we get her to be weak, right? You can either do kind of what I have got going on, where I've got a unit, LCB Ishmael, who reduces defense power. Or you can also look at things like this, where, hey, if she loses the clash, her evade gets weaker. So there's ways to make that evade roll lower. Okay. Gonna skip ahead a bit since I've explained the mechanics. These fights are all about control. You need to control Captain Ahab, because if you let her control the fight, you're gonna get completely destroyed. That's why you see me take so long on lining up my attacks, because I'm making sure everything's perfect. And yeah, she has so much defense power down. She rolled a 0 there. So phase 1's very easy, and then once she's out of ego, I mean, she's basically cooked. There's nothing she can do. At least in phase 1. So since phase 1's super easy, again, we're going to skip ahead. There we go. We can see I'm using big attacks that go straight through her evade. And she's cooked. There we go. Okay, let's go to phase 2. Alright, so gonna pause it again and look at the rules for phase 2. So now she's using Starbuck's Ego. So she gains a lot of tankiness, which is kind of funny because that's the opposite of Starbuck. He's a glass cannon, but whatever. So she gains 1 protection for every 6 value. So she's at 20, so she's gonna get a lot of protection. We can see she already has 4 protection. So how do you get rid of it? Decreases for every coin destroyed in a clash against targets with Prey Mark. So you need to have her apply Prey Mark with her skills. So you'll check which ones are applying Prey Mark, and then you're going to clash the next turn against that. So since turn 1 of phase 2, you have no units with Prey Mark. You can't reduce her ego this turn, but starting the next turn we can. So there we go. I'll pause it for a second. It's the yellow skills that inflict Prey Mark. So you want to spread out the yellow skills across 3 of your units to make sure that you have as many people marked as Prey as possible. So that way you have as many people destroying her ego as possible next turn. So you can see I'm using Faust's skill 2 instead of skill 3 because that way I can save her skill 3 for clashing next turn. Oh, there's my marker. I lost it. And I'm doing the same sort of thing with other sinners as well. I'm trying to save their good skills. What is going on with the marker today? It doesn't normally give me this much trouble. There we go. Having Otis take down a dangerous skill. Otis, super good base ego. Rolls very high even if you roll tails. Very good. And you can also see we're doing barely any damage because she has so much protection. So that's why like Gregor only did 28 damage. And then I'm also weakening Ahab with chains of others to make it so she is even easier to clash next turn, to really make sure we just destroy her ego. There we go. And now we can see she has 2 5-coin skills. You need to make sure 2 of your units who are prey marked clash those 5-coin skills. So since Ishmael is prey marked, I'm having her go in. And I don't want to risk any chance of losing the clash, so I'm using something that's dominating. For the 5-coin skill, that is. Bit unlucky, but whatever. There we go. And that's it. That's it for phase 2. Phase 2 is also, honestly not that bad. And we'll show off defeating the 5-coin skill one more time with W Faust. And there we go. We can see we're just erasing her ego because we're winning so many clashes despite being prey marked. Go. Yeah, she's already half done. So we're basically set. Just one more rotation of that and we're good. So I'll skip ahead. And we're finishing her. When you have her in a weak moment like that, try to use your skill 1s so you can get them out of rotation. Because you know you're going to finish her off anyways, so you don't need to waste your skill 2s and skill 3s. So that's why I'm using all my weakest skills. Except Gregor. I had him use his just in case I didn't do enough damage. Okay. Skip ahead to the dialogue. Alright. Rewind it back so we can read that text. Okay. So, Queequeg's ego. This is the part of the fight that actually makes it hard, because phase 1 and 2 is pretty easy if you know how the mechanics work. Turn end gain value if shielded. Turn end lose value when without shield. Turn end at 0 gets staggered. So once we take her down to 0 ego, she's cooked. The problem is she gets more shield depending on how much ego she has. And so if you let the shield stay, she's only going to get stronger and stronger. And it can kind of get out of control if you're not ready. So I would either turn 1 or turn 2 of phase 3 go for a big damage turn and try to just pop her shield. Now big damage turn, that's highly dependent on your team. Maybe that involves using egos, maybe that involves using a charged nuke, maybe that involves using like something crazy like if you have Vow tier ego like I have on all my sinners. I don't use any of those egos during this fight since I'm assuming new players don't have those, but yeah, just whatever your team's big damage turn looks like, be ready. If it's a charge team, have charge ready. If you're using like CEO Hung Lu, make sure everyone has their skill 3s ready to go. But let's hit play on the replay and see how I deal with it. With a team that is very low damage, unfortunately. And if you look at the time on the replay, phase 3 takes me as long as phase 1s and 2 combined almost. So expect phase 3 to take a while. That's just the nature of the beast. That was just double checking her passives and stuff. But there's nothing crazy. Skip ahead a bit since I'm just reading. So there we go. You can see I'm trying to go for a lot of damage. I used a lot of skill 2s and skill 3s. But I get kind of cucked because Gregor loses the clash with his big damage skill, which is really bad. And so because of that, I actually don't do enough damage to break her shield, which is very disappointing. We'll see here. If I had just gotten Gregor through, I would have done enough. There's a little skill check here. You want to have Ishmael be on high sanity so she's ready to do this. So try to get Ishmael to 20 sanity if you can. So yeah, you can see the situation's actually gotten worse because now she's at 35 instead of 30 because I lost the clash with Gregor. Honestly, I thought I was going to have to reset the whole fight because that was so bad. But I just say fuck it, we ball, and I go again with as many high damage skills as I can find. Never give up. Never give up. And I believe the reason why Ahab has fragile on her is because I won the skill check, but I could be mistaken. But that plus 30% damage is helping a lot. And we'll actually break through her shield. Once you've broken through her shield once, you're pretty much going to win the fight, because now she's going to get weaker next turn. And if you can just keep doing that, she's just going to keep getting weaker as you strip her eagle away, and you'll gain momentum. There we go. She's broken. Of course, the reason why this fight takes so long is I've only done 40 damage to her. Her HP bar, that is. I mean, I did like 120 damage to her shield. But since I broke her shield, she lost a ton of ego. Now we can just keep doing that, and it's over. Something to mention, just while this recording is playing, if you're looking for ways to boost your damage free to play, Ryoshu's default ego, Forest for the Flames, inflicts 10 fragile, or, 1 fragile, which is 10% more damage next turn. And then if you take Ryoshu's default ego to up tie 4, it inflicts 2 fragile, which makes it the second best default ego in the game. Only Merceau's Chains of Others is stronger, because you can basically guarantee yourself 20% more damage on a turn. So even if you don't have any other buffs you can stack that with, it's still substantial. So it's good for even free-to-play accounts. And Gregor comes in, the GOAT. Boom. Another turn where the shield's broken. Just barely. I only did 17 damage to her. But now that she doesn't have any ego, the fight's over. I mean, I've cooked her. So we'll skip ahead. It's just even without ego, she still has a lot of HP and a lot of high clashing skills, so the fight still takes a bit. Skip ahead. Yeah, and we can see she has almost no shield she gets anymore. Boom. Chains of Others, just to make sure she's weak next turn. And it's over. Alright, well, I'm going to stop the replay here, so there won't be any spoilers about, you know, there's a bunch of story after you finish the fight. Good luck out there, managers. I hope this video helped you. Just remember, play the mechanics. Get through Phase 1 as cleanly as possible. Get through Phase 2 quickly, you know, shouldn't be that big of a deal. Phase 3, this is where the actual fight begins, and be ready to lock in. That, you know, there's no other fights in the Canto left. This is the final fight. So spam all your ego, spam all your resources, you know, whatever it takes. Just finish the fight. Alright, good luck out there.